Hi, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the Assistive Technology and AIM training as part of the CAIU AT process for Tier 1. This is going to be a very short presentation just to get you thinking about AIM and how to use it in your classrooms. And then later on in our module, you're going to watch another short video from the AIM Center about AIM and how to use it and what it is. So AIM stands for Accessible Instructional Materials. And AIM consists of specialized formats. So if we think about printed materials that we typically use in class, textbooks, core instructional materials like workbooks, supplemental materials, any sort of printed instructional materials, AIM is having specialized formats so that students with disabilities can access them in different ways. So there's 4 types of specialized formats. The first one is Braille for students who need that format to read it. There's large print, audio formats, and there's also digital text. Digital text is what we would use for use with a reader, so some sort of electronic reading device that's reading the text out loud. Students who use specialized formats are typically going to require assistive technologies in order to access them. You are able to get enlarged print in hard copy, and I'll talk a little bit about that on the next slide. But for example, a student who uses Braille might have a refreshable Braille display so that they have that specialized format for a book or printed materials, and it's connected to technology that they can use their Braille display with. They might use a web reader extension. So if they're reading something, digital text on the web, they might need an extension. For example, on their Chrome browser, there's extensions you can get to read things aloud. There might be a mobile app, either an Android app, Windows app, iOS, that they can use to read those things. It could be computer software. There's lots of different programs out there. For example, Read and Write Gold and Kurzweil are computer software programs that allow students to read text aloud if they are in accessible format. An audio player, so something like an MP3 of a text that's being read aloud. Victor Reader is another device that students typically who are blind or visually impaired use to navigate through digital text or audio formats. And then accessibility features. So these are things that are built into your computer's operating system or your iPad's operating system that you simply have to go in and turn on that will be able to interact with that accessible informational material, or accessible instructional material, that accessible format, to be able to convert it from text to speech, and that you already have those available to you. Like I said, there are some exceptions, so you can get hard copies of Braille or large print materials that are just put together and sent to you from wherever you're accessing that source. But these are just some examples. When we look at how we have access to AIM for students, there's different ways that we can find these things. Again, just some examples. This isn't a finite list. Bookshare is an organization that's available online for students who qualify. They must have a qualifying disability, which is defined as they have to have a visual impairment or a physical or learning disability that prevents them from accessing text and using it to make progress in the general education curriculum. Learning Ally is another service that provides audiobooks. At Patton, there is the AIM Center. So if you have materials that you need to be made into accessible formats, whether it be large print or Braille or digitized, you can send those things to Patton, or you can call Patton and request information about anything that they already have. So if you're using a textbook in class and you call them, they may already have that in an accessible format that you could use. If not, they can convert it there. Another way to get them is open sourced or public domain sources. So if you go on the web, one example I use is readworks.org, which is a website where you can go and sign up and get reading passages that are different grade levels, and they usually have comprehension questions with them. Sometimes those are also accessible formats. And then lastly, you can create materials for individual students based on their needs. So if you have a student who needs an accessible format, you can take that information and you can convert it manually yourself into a Word document. Whether you use something like Adobe Pro, that you can make it so that it's accessible, or you're just retyping things into a Word document, you can do them that way too. So these are some resources you can use to learn more about AIM. The NIMAC is the National Instructional Material Access Center, and they are a repository for AIM sources. So you can check out some more information on their website. CAST, or the Center for Applied Special Technology, has a great website with lots of information. And on that website, or as part of that website, they include the National Center on AIM, AEM, which is Accessible Educational Materials. And I would encourage you to go to that website and the two below there, the AIM Navigator and the AIM Explorer. The AIM Navigator is an online it's a website that you can go through, and you can just click through each consideration of when to use AIM, or who needs AIM, how do you access AIM, which type of AIM are you going to use, and it gives you information and it helps you kind of see how that consideration process goes. And then the AIM Explorer is a downloadable tool that you can put on your computer, and you can find information about the different types of features of accessible instructional materials. So you can go in and you can answer questions based on a specific student, or what I do is I download it and I just make up a sample student just so I see what's in it. But it gives you options for changing text color and text size and fonts, and having it read aloud by a human reader, having it read aloud by a computer voice. So that is a great the word has left my brain. Resource. It's a great resource for learning more about AIM. So that's the end of my presentation, but later, or in the next part of this module, you're going to watch just a simple YouTube video that's going to give a little bit more information about AIM and who qualifies and how they would use it. So thank you for watching, and please take some time to check out some of these resources.